Hello, my name is Ronan Dennedy. I'm with Louth County Enterprise Fund, and we provide services for micro enterprises and SMEs here in County Louth, principally loan funding, but also other supports. And this Digital Change Makers project has given me extra string to my bow, I suppose, in terms of helping SMEs do what they need to do and do best. I'm delighted this morning to welcome our guest, Lavina McGahan. We've been chatting here already, and we actually happen to live very close to each other, even though we haven't met up until now, until this Zoom, which is very appropriate. Lavina, you're very welcome, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us about digital tools and the work that you do. Can I start
Delighted to be asked. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I start off by asking you to talk a little bit about yourself and your skills and how you use those in support of SMEs here in County Louth and probably in the Northeast. I don't want to limit you to the smallest county in Ireland necessarily.
My background is UCD graduate, did a postgraduate in marketing a long time ago, and I worked it with marketing agencies and then in-house with a lot of blue chip brands, names like, you know, Bailey's and Faustino, Capri Sun, Ocean Spray. I would have worked predominantly in that kind of sector. They're called fast moving consumer goods. So I took a career break when I moved to Dundalk, and that was obviously for a family. I started working on some community projects, and then I got involved marketing support for startups and new businesses. So I always liked the kind of adding a few strings to my bow, as you mentioned earlier, Ronan. So I did a master's then in DKIT in entrepreneurship and marketing, which is what brought me to the Leo. And I began doing some mentoring with them about 4 years ago. I've probably worked with, I don't know, well into the hundreds maybe of clients over that period, predominantly bringing marketing tools and kind of education to each of the clients for the Leo. I love entrepreneurship. I'm really, really genuinely interested in seeing the businesses do as much as they can do to, I suppose, prosper and succeed. So it's really suited to me what I do, and I enjoy the fact that marketing is something that is quite complex. It's gotten even more complicated as we've moved into the digital arena. We've been there a long time, but lots of businesses are really only embracing it now, and that's probably because of COVID. Everybody was kind of dabbling a little bit in it, but I think the last probably 6 months, the tiniest businesses have woken up to the fact that digital is critical for their business. Some businesses have seen actual growth there on the digital, where they've been able to actually sell online. Other businesses are seeing that it's got huge potential. So there's a massive growth area now in online marketing, and it is quite sophisticated. You can do an awful lot with the tools that are there, the Facebook tools, through Google, and they have offered free kind of platforms in the past, and they're now starting to make money out of them through advertising and allowing people to utilize their tools the algorithms that they write are extremely effective for businesses to be able to actually put their products in front of the right customer.
I'm intrigued by what COVID has done for this arena, I suppose. And if you look back to last year, I could be wrong, but I think I'm probably right in that Brexit was the dominant factor as you helped companies to market. Can you tell me a little bit about that environment, and particularly what tools were being used back then, 12 months ago, let's say?
So I think with Brexit on the horizon, a lot of focus was on getting businesses ready. And in that was in terms of maybe supply chains, not as much as I think the focus now due to COVID has sort of switched over to the consumer, the customer, and serving their needs. A lot of the focus would have been previously maybe their own supply chain, their own maybe more traditional methods of selling, and where that was happening. Now, I think the fact that we've all been restricted to home, it's inevitable that people have moved online quicker. So there's been a much quicker adoption of online selling as a route to customers, and everybody needs to be there. And I think everybody has realized that anybody from the young people have always adopted digital, but it's moved right up to 65 plus customers are all online shopping. And that restrictions, I suppose, of being at home has facilitated that to a huge degree. And I think businesses now realize that it's so important to invest in that area and to ensure that they have the right tools to be able to do that online.
Before I get into the tools themselves, you mentioned the LEO in your opening remarks, and for our overseas listeners, the LEO, the Local Enterprise Office. And what strikes me about that is that they now have a trading online voucher grant scheme, which you're probably well aware of. What has that done for the environment? I think they introduced it maybe back in March or April at the beginning of lockdown.
Yeah, they were absolutely inundated with applications for the trading online voucher, and rightly so, because it offers up to €2,500 of funding of a grant to actually see businesses get online. And in some cases, it may have been to enhance their online presence. Now, the specifics of us were that you have to actually be selling online, but the grant is quite open in supporting customers, our clients, to actually spend that in various ways to enhance their online shop.
So moving on to the digital tools, here we are sitting here using Zoom, which even a non-tech person like me has been able to use. But apart from Zoom, there are many other tools, and we feature some of them, a limited number actually, in our Digital Changemakers digital toolkit. And you've seen that. But tell me about your experience and what works, what's good, what's bad, what's easy to use, and what's the one that you will probably continue to use, let's say, through the rest of this year.
Digital tools, I think most importantly, they allow you to run your business more efficiently. So that's usually time. There's coding written into these different programs that allow you to do your tasks much more efficiently. And there's lots of businesses are using various tools. I find myself that I couldn't have operated through the last 6 months without Zoom. And I think that Zoom has been so effective for me. Like, it's invaluable because it allows you to meet face to face, and it really does outperform other, I think, tools that are out there for face-to-face online meetings. You can do it for free. I do pay a subscription because that means that I can have more people at a meeting. If you are using the free service, you're only allowed 40 minutes of a meeting with a group of people, but you can have unlimited time with a one-on-one. So it really is a tool that everybody could use. And if you needed to have a group meeting, you could always just limit it to 40 minutes. I love their advanced tools. So I can actually, particularly for helping people with marketing tools, I can share my screen. I can show people exactly what I'm talking about when I'm demonstrating maybe some technique. I can then also ask to share their screen or to use their screen, and I can actually go in and use their, without asking a client for login details, I can actually access their screen, and I can, move around and show them how to, maybe deliver a tool to, maximize what you can do with it. So it's extremely effective tool, and I couldn't possibly have operated as a mentor over the past 6 months without using it.
So you're zoomed out, to use a phrase.
Yeah, I'm zoomed out, but I love it. I'm a big supporter, Functionality is fantastic. I've never had a meeting drop. The only ever time I had a problem was when I had my own Wi-Fi issues where we upgraded our system. So it is foolproof so far with me.
So Zoom is, you're saying, is a wonderful platform to work in this age.
Yeah.
What other tools? I mean, you're a marketeer, so you're trying to get companies to improve their sales and marketing profiles and performances. So, are there any tools that you have or use at the moment which help you to get those messages across?
Well, I always fall back on the business plan or the canvas model, and that's usually to start clients off, because it's so important to have proper goal setting in place so that you can actually then follow objectives. So every good, solid marketing plan falls back on a business plan with clear objectives of what they're trying to achieve. So I use that. I sometimes use it in a kind of a short version, which is the canvas model, but often with maybe newer clients who are starting out and really are trying to navigate their path, the business plan is incredibly effective. Marketing tools that I use then with clients usually are digital. So I'm using advanced Facebook, maybe advertising. I'm using Google Analytics, Facebook Analytics, and every activity that is conducted online in a digital space should always be measured. And that's the beauty of modern marketing. In the past, you didn't sometimes know how many people actually saw an ad. There was no concrete figures. Nowadays, you can see every single person's set of eyes that sits on your marketing. In some instances, if you have a video that you've posted, you can actually even see if they've watched 15 seconds of it, or if they've watched 75% of the video, or they've seen the whole thing. It allows you to, I suppose, understand your warm customers and then be in a position to retarget them. You couldn't do that without the analytics, the algorithms that Facebook have and the knowledge that they have about the people that are using their platforms.
What about the appetite that your client base has now? I mean, do you find they're much more open to accepting these devices than maybe a year ago, because maybe in a sense they've been forced to become much more tech savvy, if I can use that word?
Yeah, I think they're all these tools, these digital tools, are designed to be really user friendly. And actually, once you start to use them and engage with them, you'll actually find that they're quite logical. It's a very natural steps are pre-considered. So your actual ability to use them is probably maybe more, in the past it was probably more about a mindset. Once you actually embrace them and realize that it is, these are tools that you need to use, you're brought through each step. So it is, I think, confidence probably builds with clients when they actually start engaging with tools that they would have shied away from in the past. I don't think you can probably continue into the future without embracing some of these effective tools that are there. There's a very good tool that I used. I use with a client of mine who I work with. I do a lot of contract work with, and it's called Teamwork. It's actually an Irish company, and it's an actual management tool where all your files are stored in one section. It also includes a kind of a chat forum, so you can talk to other people within the office, almost a little bit like Slack. It has its own little chat function. It also can allow the client then to access their own file. So there's lots of tools out there that you have to pay for these. These are obviously subscription tools that you have to pay for, but they are extremely effective for businesses to allow you to even manage your content in the one place. And it means then that your photos and your files and all your communication is all in the one place. Another very good tool that I've noticed a lot of clients using over the past maybe probably 2 or 3 years is Shopify, and it's a online shop that you can actually add to your website, and the actual the functionality of it is so simple, and it's so simple for anybody to use. Now, it's obviously, these are subscription based tools that I'm talking about, but the usability is so easy, and it builds confidence as you use it, because you can I think anybody can really, I suppose the design in a lot of these digital tools is that anybody at any level can use them. So it is probably a mindset that we're not embracing these sooner, or maybe didn't last year, but now I think, given what's happened in the past 6 months and the acceptance that we have, we have to grow on a digital platform. I think that is enough of an inspiration for people to embrace these digital tools.
You mentioned cost there. I mean, we're doing this for free, obviously within the 40 minutes of Zoom. Have you found that cost has been an inhibitor for any of your clients to take any of these tools up?
Well, you see, the lovely thing about the Shopify is that actually you can cover some of that under your trading online voucher grant, which is fantastic. So ongoing, then it depends on what kind of volume of products you have, and they're priced quite effectively. If you think, I suppose their market is global for a product like that. So for an Irish company with a small to mid range of products, it's actually quite affordable.
Looking into the future and kind of bringing this to a gentle close, I mean, there is a view that this COVID business, apart from all of the restrictions, has basically changed the world, I suppose. And that's kind of a moot point, maybe. And maybe we look back in 2 years' time and this will be a distant memory. But it would seem that the use of tools like Zoom and the other tools are probably here to stay. I mean, even if we get back into having face-to-face interaction again, which we will, that there's been a step change in the use of digitization. I mean, I suppose an open question to you, Lavina, is that a good thing?
Definitely. I think there's no going back. I think digital has gone mainstream, definitely. And I think that that is a good thing, because I think it is more effective. I love the face-to-face. I miss it. I think everybody misses it, and that's a human interaction that I think is important, but I think it's probably going to be reduced. I think I'm definitely going to continue using Zoom into the future. I found it really effective. I think it's actually even more efficient for my clients. I think they're getting more out of you for the short period of time, because you switch on once you start your Zoom. You're sort of straight to business, and I think certainly it's effective in terms of what a customer is getting from their mentor, because there's not as much small talk. Unfortunately, there isn't.
Yes. Well, look, I think we've spent as much time as we had been allocated on this. We could go on much longer, but can I thank you so much, Lavina, for joining us this morning, and I wish you all the best into the future, and no doubt we will meet face to face at some point in time as well. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Ronan. I hope that was of some help.